Chapter 28, a chapter of history containing 8 verses written at Mecca. In the name of God, gracious and merciful, Qasim. And here we have listed, God is most pure, he understandeth all things, and is most wise. These mysteries are the mysteries of the book that distinguisheth the truth from a lie. I relate to thee the history of Moses and of Pharaoh with truth, for the contentment of true believers. Pharaoh was powerful on earth. He entreated his subjects as seemed good to him. He tormented one party and murdered their children. He abused their wives and was of them that defiled the earth. I gave my grace to them that were afflicted on earth. I made them successors of Pharaoh's kingdom, the exiles. I established them in his dominions. I made Pharaoh, Haman, and their army to see what they most feared. We said to the mother of Moses, give suck to thy child. If thou fearest that they will mischief him, cast him upon the Nile. Fear not, neither afflict thyself. I will restore him to thee between thine arms, and place him in the number of prophets. And the domestics of Pharaoh found him upon the water, and saved him to be one day their enemy, and torment them, because Pharaoh, Haman, and their people were misbelievers. Pharaoh's wife said unto him, I entreat thee not to suffer this infant to be slain. Mine eyes rejoice to see him. He shall one day be profitable to our service as our son. But they were ignorant of what should befall them. The heart of his mother was freed from fear when she beheld him in the hands of Pharaoh's wife, and scarce could she refrain to let them know that she was his mother. We caused her to have patience, and she had faith in our promises. She spake to his father to follow him step by step. She followed afar off without intimation that she was his sister, or that she regarded him. We had before prohibited Moses to suck the milk of any other nurse than that of his mother. His sister said to Pharaoh's servant, will ye that I provide you a nurse and people that shall carefully nourish him? We caused him to be restored to his mother to nurse him. She ceased from her sadness when she knew and saw that God was sincere in what he had promised. But the greatest part of the people know it not. When Moses was aged about 30 years, we gave him knowledge and wisdom. Thus do I reward the righteous. Moses, entering one day into the city, met 2 men that thought. The one was of the children of Israel, and the other was an Egyptian, and of his enemies, whom he assaulted and slew. After this he said, the devil tempted me, he is an open enemy of men. Lord, I have offended thee, pardon me. And he pardoned him. He is gracious and merciful. Lord, since thou hast been so gracious to me, I will never give aid or succor to misbelievers. He continued in the city with fear, and kept himself upon his guard. On the morrow he again met him, whom the day before he had defended, who fought likewise with another Egyptian, and required his assistance. Moses said unto him, thou art seditious. He replied, O Moses, wilt thou slay me as thou didst slay him yesterday? Wilt thou be a murderer of all men, or a just man? Not long after a man came in haste to him from the utmost part of the city, who said unto him, O Moses, the officers of Pharaoh have conspired against thee. They declare to put thee to death. Save thyself and follow my counsel. He departed from the city with fear, keeping himself upon his guard, beseeching his Lord to deliver him from the hands of misbelievers. He went towards Madian and said, Lord, suffer me not to follow an evil way. He met a great number of persons that made their flocks to drink. He with them found 2 maids that could not water their cattle. He said unto them, What do ye 2 do here? We have not strength to draw water and give our beasts to drink. We tarry for the shepherd. Our father is too old to draw it. He drew water out of the well to water their cattle, and withdrew to a shade because of the heat of the sun, saying, Lord, I am deprived of all the graces which heretofore thou didst confer on me. I am now poor and necessitous. One of those maidens came to seek him, and bashfully said unto him, My father calleth thee to recompense thee for the pains thou hast taken in watering our cattle. When he was in the old man's presence, he related what had befallen him. The old man said, Fear nothing, I will deliver thee from the hands of the wicked. One of his daughters said to her sister, Give to this man to eat and reward his pains. He assisted us with affection. Their father said unto him, I will marry thee to one of any 2 daughters on the condition that thou wilt have care of my flocks the space of 8 years. 10, if it please thee, said Moses. I will not forsake thee. Thou shalt find me an honest man. I will serve thee the 2 terms, either 8 or 10 years, as shall seem good to thee. God is witness over what I say. After the term expired, Moses forsook the house of his father-in-law, withdrawing with his wife. He beheld afar off a great fire in the side of the mountain. He said to his wife, Tarry here, I see the fire of the Omnipotent. I will speedily return. I will bring you a spark. Peradventure you shall be warmed. When he drew near to this fire, they cried unto him from the right side of the valley, from an eminent place, and from a bush. Moses said, I am God, Lord of the universe. Cast thyself on the ground. When he beheld his staff to move, as if it had been alive, he fled for fear and returned no more. O Moses, draw near and fear not. Thou art in a place of safety. Put thine hand into thy pocket. It shall come out, white and shining, without harm. Draw back thine arm. Into thy sleeve it shall return to its former condition. My staff and thine hand shall be 2 signs of my omnipotency to Pharaoh and his ministers, who disobey my commandments. Moses said, Lord, I have slain an Egyptian. I am afraid they will take away my life. Command Aaron, who is eloquent, to go with me, to aid me, and to confirm what I shall say. I fear they will traduce me. I will give thee thy brother for thine assistant. I will give to you both strength to defend yourselves from their malice. Go do what is commanded you. You shall be victorious, and all those that shall follow you. When Moses came to Pharaoh, he made him to see my miracles and preached my commandments to his ministers. They said, This is but magic and witchcraft. We have not heard these things to have been spoken to our predecessors. Moses said, The Lord knoweth him that teacheth the right way, and him that ought to have part in paradise. Misbelievers shall be most miserable. Pharaoh said to his ministers, Do ye know any other God but me? O Haman, let me offer sacrifices and build a temple. Shall I deceive myself with the God of Moses? I believe him to be in the number of the liars. He became proud on earth with his ministers, and they believed what they should never, that they should never be assembled before me to be judged. We surprised him with his people and caused him to perish in the sea. Consider what is the end of the misbelievers. We abandoned them. It's the It's a tidal marsh, not the Red Sea. Consider what is the end of the misbelievers. We abandon them, and they are in the number of the condemned to the fire of hell. They shall find none to protect them at the day of judgment. We curse them on earth, and at the day of the resurrection they shall be abominable to all the world. We taught Moses our commandments after the destruction of many misbelievers before his coming. We gave him the book to be a light to the people, to conduct them into the right way, to acquire our grace. Peradventure they will remember. Thou wert not with Moses when we spake to him. We created another age after him. Thou didst not at that time dwell with inhabitants of Madian, neither didst thou teach them our commandments. It is we that have instructed thee in the history of past ages. Thou wert not in the mountain when we spake to Moses. We sent thee through our special grace to preach to men the torments of hell. They have not yet had a preacher like unto thee. Perhaps they will consider it when they felt any punishment for their sins. They said, Lord, hadst thou sent us an apostle to instruct us, we should have obeyed thy commandments and have believed in thy law. And when on our part they were instructed in the truth, they said, doth Muhammad work miracles like Moses? Do they not traduce what Moses did? When they say that Moses and Muhammad are two apparent sorceries, and when they said that they believe neither prophet nor scripture, say unto them, bring any book from God that better teacheth the right way. Then what is actually behind the claim of there being the Old Testament, and more savingly than all Quran, I will follow it if ye speak the truth. If they be not heard, when they shall require this book, know that they follow only their own appetites, and their impiety, who is more erroneous than he who followeth but his own passion, and is not guided of God. He guideth not misbelievers. Certainly we have sent them Al-Quran. Peradventure they will believe in it. They to whom we heretofore sent this book believe in the contents thereof. When they hear it read, they say, we believe in those words. It is the very truth that proceedeth from God. We believe in the unity of his divine majesty. They shall be doubly rewarded, because they have persevered in well-doing. They have overcome evil through their good deeds, and have expended in good works part of the wealth that we gave them when they heard the faith. Evil spoken of, they withdrew themselves, took leave of the company, and said, ye shall answer for your, and we for our actions. Regard not the ignorant. Thou shalt not convert all them that thou shalt desire to convert. God converteth and guideth into the right way whom he pleaseth, and knoweth such as serve him. And they said, I follow with thee the right. If I follow with thee the right way, I must forsake my country. Shall not I establish them in a place of safety, where they shall find all sorts of fruits to enrich them? But the greatest part of the people know it not. How many cities have we destroyed that took pleasure in their evil life? No man inhabited them any more, except a few, and we became heirs of their riches. God shall not destroy Mecca until ye have sent an apostle to instruct the inhabitants thereof in the right way. God destroyeth not a city if the inhabitants be not unjust, and disobey not his commandments. The wealth of this world which ye possess pleaseth you, but the riches of heaven are much better and eternal. Will ye not understand it? Have we not kept promise with them to whom we promised paradise, and with them to whom we promised the riches of the world, and in the end were in the number of the damned? Be thou mindful of the day when thy Lord shall call them, and say unto them, where are your idols? Partners that you attributed to divinity. which ye believe to be my companions, the chief of them shall say, Lord, behold, those were seduced like us. We are innocent of their idolatry. They adored not us. They shall speak that day to the idolaters, misbelievers, misassociators, to invoke their idols, partners. But they shall not hear them. They shall be visibly chastised on earth. Be thou mindful of the day when thy Lord shall call them, and say unto them, Wherefore have ye not believed my apostles and my prophets? They shall be confounded and remain dumb. He that shall be converted and do good works shall be happy. Thy Lord createth what pleaseth him, and maketh choice of what seemeth to him good. Praised be God, he hath no companion. He knoweth what is in the hearts of men, and what they make manifest. He is God, there is no God but he. Praise is due to him in the beginning and in the end. He commandeth over all things, and all people shall one day be assembled before him to be judged. Saying to them, had God given a continual night until this day of judgment? What other God is there that is able to give ye light? Will ye not hear me? Had God given you a continual day until the day of judgment? What other God could have given you night to refresh you? Will ye not consider his benefits and his grace? He hath created the night for repose and the day for labor. Peradventure ye will give him thanks. Be thou mindful of the day wherein thy Lord shall call the misbelievers, and shall say to them, Where are the idols, partners, that ye worshipped? Will ye call a witness of every nation, and will say to the misassociators, Bring your arguments that may prove the plurality of gods, ye shall this day know your blasphemies, and that there is but one God. Qarun was one of the people of Moses. He was proud because of his riches. We gave him so treasures that many men were burthened when they conveyed away the keys. Because of the danger of guarding them with wealth. Remember how his people said unto him, Rejoice not above measure in thy great wealth. God abhorreth them that rejoice without reason. Beg of him paradise with thy riches. Forget not to do good in this world. Give alms of the substance which God hath given thee. Be not disobedient to him on earth, who abhorreth those that disobey him. These riches were given thee because thou didst instruct the people in the truth behind the claim of there being a Old Testament. Knowest thou not that God destroyed in times past many rich and opulent persons? Who is more strong and more powerful, more rich than God? He will not inquire the wicked the number of their sins. He knoweth all, and the accompt Qarun one day went forth in public with all his retinue. They that affected the wealth of this world said, Would to God we had as much wealth as Qarun. He is happy. But the more knowing among them said, Ye are unhappy. The grace of God is more advantageous to them that believe in his law and do good works than all the treasures of Qarun, the chief scribe. None shall receive his grace but such as shall obey him and persevere in obedience to his commandments. We deprived Qarun, the propagandist, of all his treasures, and none was able to protect him against us. Then they that have coveted his riches said, O miracle, God giveth to and depriveth of wealth, whom to him seemeth good. Had God not given us his grace, we had been necessitous. Certainly the wicked shall be miserable. I will bestow paradise on them that hate vanity and disorder on the earth, and shall have my fear before their eyes. Whosoever shall do good and shall find good. Who doth evil shall be chastised after his demerits. He that hath taught Al-Quran shall cause thee to return to the place where thou desirest. Tell the inhabitants of that place that God knoweth them that teach the right way, and such as go astray. Thou didst not expect Al-Quran. It is a special grace of thy Lord. Assist not the misbelievers, and take heed, lest they seduce thee after having learnt what hath been taught thee. Preach to the people the unity of God. Be not in the number of them that believe many to be deities. Adore God alone. There is no God but he. All things shall have the end except his face. He commandeth over everything, and all men shall one day appear before him to be judged. And one of the things about that chapter is we see basically all the types of leaders dealt with. It's not about who's the secular leader. It's not about who's the supposed sacred leader. It's not about who's in control of the information or how the information is expressed. Our path is beyond these things. Now, you can be in one of these positions. That's fine. In itself, there's no issue with that. We see the indication of good daughters, but good daughters that were willing to speak up and say, hey, we see some qualities in a man here. And since he proved himself further, the father was willing to oblige and say, yeah, this is the type of guy I want my daughters to be with. But even after an initial sign of who you are, sometimes you just got to be ready to be tested.